Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a loose and free sort of abstract hydrangea with a reflection down in the water, and I've got the following colors. I'll list them below in the description box of the video. So I've got gold. So this is, I'll show you the gold that I'm using. This is by Liquitex Basics, so a really pretty gold that I'm going to add with some cadmium yellow medium hue, and I've got some pale green, sap green, and titanium white just to start for the background, and then we'll come in with the color of the flower petals, and I'll go over all of those colors with you as well. So for the background, I'm going to be using a number 30 filbert brush. I've got a 12 by 18 canvas that I painted over with a little bit of white and black and water just to cover it in different tones of gray. The darker areas, the darker gray, will have more depth and shadow around all the leaves and the foliage, and where I left it a little bit lighter and used a bit more white, we'll have some lighter, softer areas with more highlights. So that is a really good tip for you guys if you want an easy and quick way to create light and shadow in your paintings. Just do an underpainting with black and white, leaving some areas darker and some lighter. So I'm going to go ahead and just get my number 30 brush wet, and I'm going to take some gold, this beautiful shimmery gold, and I'm just going to start covering up the background in a patchy way like this. This is going to give a really nice warm golden light and a bit of a shimmer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take all three colors here, yellow and both greens. Take a little bit more of my water and just start lightly blending around and pulling over, not over blending anything too much. I'm going to have a little bit of that green and yellow down below. So we're just being free and loose with our brush strokes. This is such an enjoyable way to paint. Just letting these blobs of colors end up looking like leaves in the background, blurry background. Just washing my brush out, and I'm going to switch over to a number 6 filbert brush. It's a little bit smaller. I'm going to use this for creating a couple of leaves that stand out from the others. So the leaves of the hydrangea, this hydrangea anyways that I'm painting, have little serrated edges, so we're going to use this brush to create that. I'm going to take some white along with the green and the yellow. I'm going to add a little line like this that starts to curve up and come down. And I'm just going to add these little sort of zigzags. Tends to work better if your brush is a little bit wet and you do it a little bit quicker. I'm going to make some lines like this. We know this is going to dry a little bit darker, so I don't want to add too much green. I like the greens that we have underneath. I'm just using that. But I do need this to be a little bit darker right here, so I'm just going to come in and go over top of part of this white edge with a little bit of that green. And then I'll go into my white, yellow, and just make this a little bit crisper. Just the level of brightness. Okay, I'm gonna add a few more. Take some of the white and yellow. A little bit of green that's left in my brush, that's fine too. And I'll choose a dark area to add another one. So it's kind of dark in here, so maybe I'll just go with this and just go around. Maybe this one's coming out over top. So those little tight little zigzags like that. And a little bit of green. A little bit more white, yellow on the tip of the brush. A little line sort of down the center. It tends to look more natural if you do it a little off-centered, so more to the left or more to the right. And then you can round some of them out like this. Add a little bit more white. And I'm just gently going to pull and blend out from that edge. And maybe I'll come over here and add another one. A little bit more green. And some white and yellow again. A little bit of green in there. And then just soften. Okay, I'm going to start getting the colors out for the flower now. I'm going to use a little bit of Luminous Rose to mix with my blue. I'm also going to use some Phthalo Blue by Grumbacher. I'm also going to use some Ultramarine Blue by Arteza. Okay, so I'm going to start with just using this brush here, and I'm going to take a mixture of Phthalo, the Rose, and the Ultramarine. I'm just going to add messy looking round balls. Get a little bit of water on my brush and a little bit of white. We're painting really loosely today, guys. You're gonna have so much fun. This is one of the nicest ways, very therapeutic, good for the soul, good art therapy. I'm gonna add a little bit of that down below in the water. Okay, and I'm going to start coming in with a little bit of water on my brush, a little bit of rose, and whatever's left in my brush from applying this. Okay, so we're just going to gently use the tip, a little pressure, then push, let off, push, and let off. Reload your brush whenever you need to. I'm just going to go down a size in my filbert brush. I'm going to use, well, a few sizes. I'm going to go down to my number 2, and that way I can make some smaller petals with a little bit more control. Yeah, this is better. So it's nice when you don't overmix your colors, because then you'll get those nice highlights. So what we want to do is really, really overlap, layer and layer and layer. Push, let off, gently push, let off, wiggle, wherever you want to make them a little bit bigger. And I want them to be different sizes. Some with a little bit more blue, like just change it up. So, because when you look at hydrangeas, sometimes they have a little bit of different tones of blues and purples within them. Sometimes they have a little bit of green. And I did a hydrangea flower tutorial a few years ago, so maybe you guys have seen that one. But I'll leave a link below or at the end of this video so you can watch it again and learn something from each video, because I'm going to be showing you different ways, different techniques and ways to approach painting them. So remember, when they're all bunched together, you're not really going to see where every single flower starts and another one comes over top. It's just going to be a one big mass ball of flowers and petals. So you don't have to try too hard painting every single flower petal perfectly. See how you can start to pick up speed, and then every once in a while grab a little bit more paint, colors. I've been growing hydrangeas for a few years now, and I wanted to buy, I couldn't just choose one, so there were a few different varieties for me to choose from. So I got one that's like a raspberry color. It's more of, I don't know what it's called, but it really does look like a raspberry color. It's more pink. And I have one that's just really blue, like more of a like a cornflower blue. It's quite pretty. And another one that is a lighter blue, and it gets tones of almost like green, kind of on the turquoise side. I think I've walked through with my in my videos through my garden for you guys. In a few older videos, I've taken you for little tours. I don't have a huge garden, but what I have is really pretty. I've got roses. I've been adding to my garden a lot over the past couple of years that we've been here. So I'm just gonna layer in some more here. I want to leave the centers darker. Okay, now I'm going to paint another one. I think I'll have, and I also want to have some reflections down here. So I'm going to take these colors and just add little ripples and lines down here in the water. And I want to make some blurrier looking ones in the background. See, it looks really pretty with the gold. And look, just tapping around with your brush, and you can make it look like there's some there farther away. You can even add a little bit of green in there to make more of a turquoisey blue color. That can look kind of nice here on the leaves. I'll just add a little bit more of that blue. And we've got those cool shadows. And then just keep it looking blurry, and then go ahead and add some down in the water as well. Well, I can tell I'm gonna really love working on this painting. I already am, and it's not even close to being finished yet. So I'm going to come in and start adding another circle here for our next flower. And I think maybe I'll have one right here. I'll start overlapping. I want this one to come right down to the water. You know, when hydrangea bushes aren't propped up by anything, stakes or anything, and they just are so heavy that they gracefully hang over. Well, I want it to look like there's maybe a little puddle or a pretty little pond or lake, whatever, some kind of water. Right below. Just gonna twist around with my brush like this, work out all those colors so you've got a little bit of that green left in there. And then I go back, dip my brush in the water, a little bit of phthalo blue, white, and we can get some different tones of blue in here. Let's bring out a little bit more of that beautiful phthalo. And just have it come right down. Look at that, just catch the edge of a few petals and have it right down in the water, sort of blurry like that. And we'll just start layering. Now typically hydrangea flowers, each little flower has 4 petals. I don't always stay true to that though. Sometimes I forget or just don't really care much and go ahead and add 5. Because when they're all bunched together like this, it doesn't really matter. It just looks pretty together. It's what it looks like as a whole when you're looking at it. And we definitely know these are hydrangeas. I'm just going to go back here, a little bit of white, and add some smaller ones, a few highlights here as this is starting to dry. It's drying a little bit darker. Got a big one right here. A little bit of that gold is really going to come through and shimmer. Get that beautiful shimmer. So by adding different amounts of blue and that rose around there, when we go over it with a white, we're going to pick that up and it's going to blend in, and we're going to make so many different pastel shades of all of those colors. And this by far is the easiest way to approach without having to do a bunch of different color mixing on your palette. I just want to make it the most enjoyable for you guys, and the most and by making it a little simpler for you, that's how you're going to enjoy it a lot more, right? So you can come back and mix up specific colors that you may want as well. If you want to make a certain color, you can go ahead and do that too. There's just endless ways to paint hydrangeas. And there's a lot here on YouTube. A lot of amazing YouTube artists. I always recommend watching all of them, we all have something unique to show you. And then during the process, practicing all of our techniques, you'll find what works best for you. I'm going to go ahead and add our highlight or reflection down in the water here. You can add little ripples like that, a little bit more paint if you want. For a little bit more color. Well, I'm having so much fun, so I'm gonna just continue here painting some more. I think I'm gonna paint, I'll add a dark blue one over top here. I gotta tell you, this is so satisfying to paint. And maybe you guys are enjoying watching. Maybe it's satisfying to watch these come together. Something I personally enjoy watching on YouTube. I like watching people painting flower petals. There's just something really kind of ASMR-ish and satisfying and relaxing. Now, the colors I'm using today are just what I've got here that work for me and what I've just chosen today, but I have used other colors before, and by all means, use whatever shade of purple, blue, pink that you want. And if you're not even sure, just have a look through pictures of hydrangeas. So see all the little twists and pulls and turns I'm adding as well. And then sometimes you can just push and tap, push and tap. So this will give you different angles on your flowers because they're all kind of growing in from different directions and angles. Right, because they're round, so there's some from the side, and that's how you can do it, is by just adding a little twist, pull and turn, twist, and then sometimes pull. So add some of this, a bit of blue down in here. Okay, then what I want to do is take a liner brush now, and this one is a 0, but you can use one smaller or bigger if you want. I'm just going to get it wet, and I'm going to add a light blue dab, like really light, or you could add like a soft yellow. I'm going to add this to the center of some of them. We're not going to see the center of all of them, remember that, so you don't need to try and get every single one. I guarantee if you guys paint these over and over again, you're gonna really get the hang of it and want to paint them more and more and more. You're gonna enjoy the process so much. Okay, these ones are farther away and smaller, so I don't need to add too much there. Let's see here, a few more. I'm just gonna go over that purple a little bit with some white, just soften it. And then I'm going to choose a few flowers to outline with my blue, the blues and the pink, or just blue, or you can also use white. So I'm going to choose a few petals here. I'm going to start with a point, come out wide and go in, wide and in. A little bit of water to help that paint flow out of my brush. And then I can add a few lines, and then add a little bit of, whoops, add a little bit of white lines like this on some of them if you want. So just a few little details here and there like that can make a difference, but I don't want to do too much, because then it starts to take away from what we've already got here that's so pretty. So I want to kind of put this one a little bit in the distance, or kind of blend it in there. Okay, so I can take few of these here. Add little dabs, little lines. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you guys is how to make some that are just more in the distance here, blurrier. And I'm going to use one of my blending brushes. Yes, this is a makeup brush. I buy sets of makeup brushes specifically for painting because the bristles tend to be stronger in them. They don't fall out and they're really soft and they seem to last longer than the ones that I get at the art store. So there's a little tip for you. And I'm going to use a little bit more pink for this one. So I'll just squeeze out a little bit more of my rose. Okay, and I'm just going to dab, load my brush up here. I'm going to take a little bit of white with it. See where we've got that gold there? We're just going to tap around. Maybe add a little bit here in the water. And then we can add some more in the background. Maybe one that's got a little bit more blue in it back there. Oh, that's pretty. Without over blending too much at all. And I'll just come in and overlap this one. It's nice to have them overlapped. Maybe we've got a dark one coming right from this side. It hangs right down in the water. And you know what? I think I really want to have one tucked underneath here too. That's more on the phthalo side. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my number 6, 4, I think I had a number 2 and a number 6 I was using. So those ones back there, these smaller ones, I am gonna use my number 2 brush for. I'm gonna get some water and some white. And I'm gonna really just make this very loose, messy, because it's about making it blurry. You know what else I could have used? You guys are probably trying to tell me through the screen that I should have used my beauty blender, my makeup beauty blender. I definitely could have used that. I'll show you guys quickly if I can find it. Well, you know, I seem to have misplaced it for now, but you guys, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know what I'm talking about. It's those brown beauty blenders that you actually apply foundation with. They're for makeup. They are amazing brushes for, or little sponges for creating bokeh or bokeh backgrounds. They're really blurry with the circles. They almost look like bubbles. I've used them for bubbles before. Okay, let's keep going here. No, I don't want to forget about the water. And I'm going to go into my beautiful phthalo with a little bit of white. Add some of that. My husband's probably wondering where I am right now. I said I'm just gonna go go do a little tidying up and grab something out of my studio. And he was making dinner. And here I am. This is me spur of the moment. This is just exactly what I do. I'll just come in and all of a sudden I'll have an idea and then decide to start painting, even though it's dinner time or we were about to go somewhere. Okay, now I'm going to take the ultramarine blue. Yeah, so if you're somebody like me that loves blue or pink or purple and you're like, well, I don't know which hydrangeas I want to paint, because how do you choose? They're all so pretty. Use them all. Choose them all and make it work. Because like I said, in my garden, I bought 3 different varieties of hydrangeas because at the greenhouse when I was picking them out I couldn't decide. And they all look really pretty together. And when I'm twisting like this and kind of just doing a little dance with my brush, that's giving those petals different angles, because some of them are kind of curling. And remember, these should be a little bit messier and blurrier. Now you can see why I chose the beautiful gold for part of the background, because the shade that it is so soft that it really complements the softness of the colors of the flowers, and it's also a complementary color. You can definitely add more gold. You could completely prime your canvas or pre-paint it in gold if you want. Gold and silver would be pretty. You could use some iridescent paint as well. I love the iridescent. There's pearl and then there's like iridescent, so you get sort of all the pastel colors like a rainbow, and it changes from different angles depending on where the light hits it. I'm gonna take a little bit of black and a bit more green. This is the green that I'm gonna use again, Pale Green by Arteza. What I wanna do is add some shadow in here. So the phthalo blue, the green, and the black. I want it to be really, really dark. And I also don't want a ton of paint on my brush, so I'm gonna mix it up and then work that paint out so I can come in here and do a soft scuffle close up to those petals. Okay, see instantly a layer of this, just a dry brush. Really gives us more depth. Now it feels like there's space between the leaf and the petals, and it's casting a shadow down in here. So notice how right here I left it bright and I went close up to it, so this leaf is above this one and it's casting a shadow because there's a space between this one and this one. So I hope this is making sense to you guys and that you're understanding why I'm layering where I am, why I'm adding certain colors where I am, and helps you along the way decide where you want your shadows to fall and how to create that look to your leaves, because that's something that I had a hard time with when I was first learning how to paint. You can add a little bit of color down here. A little bit of white in there. Okay, so I'm gonna work on adding the finishing touches. I'll add a little bit of highlights here. Just a few little twists and turns and pulls. And whoops, that's too much. Just a little dab. Mix up a bit of my pale green and white. Just add a little bit of light there, just before I call this one done. Okay, so there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I sure did, and I look forward to hearing what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe to my channel for more, and look below for some links. You can join Patreon and help support me there and receive some exclusive, quite a few exclusive tutorials, wonderful tutorials, longer ones, full length, ones that you won't see here on my channel, so you're missing out if you don't check those out. Thank you so much, everybody, from the bottom of my heart. Your support means so much to me, so I can't thank you enough. Have a wonderful day. Stay happy, healthy, positive, and creative out there. Sending you guys lots of love, and I'll see you all soon in my next video. Bye.